Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Kitchen 701. I'm really glad you're tuned in. Today we're going to make chicken marinara zucchini boats. I'm really excited about this recipe because a lot of it comes from the garden. It's nice and a fresh meal that doesn't have a lot of carbs. So it's one of those healthy meals that doesn't take too much work. We get it done in about 30 minutes or less. So let's get started. So first what we're going to do is we're going to cut up our chicken into some bite-sized pieces. So I'm going to take that out of the bag here and get these cut up. Now the pieces that I have, I got from my mom from Pilgrim's Pride, or Golden Plump as people know it as. These are already cut into chicken tenders, but we're going to make them be a little more bite-sized. You could also use ground chicken for this if you wanted. You could do ground turkey. If you wanted to do, a little bit lower fat, you could also do hamburger if you wanted to do that. So we're gonna get these to be in bite-sized pieces like this. About a pound's worth, maybe a little bit more. Get this all cut up nice here. Now, the other ingredients that we need for this recipe, it's pretty simple. We just need 3 small to medium zucchinis. We need some marinara sauce, tomato sauce, some cheese, some spices, not a whole lot of crazy spices going on. And then I'm going to be putting some rice in my zucchini boats. You definitely wouldn't need to add rice. I'm just doing it just to make it a little bit more of a filler. I was intending to do quinoa, but I didn't have any, thought I did. And I'm always a fan of just using what you have. We unfortunately just have white rice. Not a fan of white rice, just because there's way healthier alternatives that you can do that are just as easy to make. There's quinoa, there's brown rice, there's lentils, there's other ancient grains that are out there. So whenever you have a recipe that calls for white rice, substitute it. Do quinoa, brown rice, something a little healthier, gives you a little bit more nutrition. White rice is basically stripped of everything nutritious, but we're gonna roll with it because that's what we have. Okay, so got my chicken ready to go. This is going to go into a preheated pan. I've got my cast iron skillet on the stove, and that's going to be warmed with some olive oil before I put the chicken in. It's gonna cook pretty quickly. So we are going to do that now and get this in the pan. Okay, also forgot to mention that the night before I actually cooked my rice already. When you're working on a weeknight and you got kids to feed and stuff like that, you don't have a ton of time. So that's a little bit of a time saver to have done that ahead of time when you have a little bit more time to prep some food. I added my chicken to that skillet, so I'm just kind of waiting for that to heat up even more. And then I am going to I've got a fresh cutting board. I'm going to get these zucchini ready to go while I'm waiting for that chicken to get hot. So like I said, 3 zucchini, about small to medium. This one's a little on the big side, but hey, took it from the garden last night. We're gonna use it. All right, and then we're going to split these zucchini right in half. It's good to have a nice sharp knife to do this. I just bought this knife not too long ago. It is the best. It's a Damascus steel knife. If you're looking for a good knife, look for Damascus steel. Okay, so I've got my zucchini boats cut. I'm not gonna hold them out just yet. I'm gonna do some other things first. So let's keep working here. Okay, so I moved you over here so that we can watch this chicken get cooking here. You can see it's starting to cook a little bit. I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees because these zucchini boats, of course, are going to be in the oven for the finishing touches. So like I said, this chicken is cut bite-sized, so it's gonna cook pretty quickly. It's got a lot of surface area to cook with. If you can hear, I've got a little kitchen helper. I don't know if you can see her. She's taking out all my utensils out there, and maybe she's pretending she's cooking like me, I don't know. All right, so while we're cooking this, we are going to season the chicken a little bit. got those spices I mentioned. We've got pink Himalayan sea salt. Of course, you can just use regular sea salt. Good amount of that. Chicken does need good seasoning. Some black pepper. And then a little bit of garlic powder. All right, so we're going to cook this chicken all the way through, and then we are going to simply add in the marinara sauce and the tomato sauce right into this chicken. Then we're going to let it simmer a little bit and cook down so it isn't very thin, so that it's a nice thick sauce that we can work with to get into our zucchini boats. Okay, you can see Adeline is busy at work down there. That'll be a good mess for me to clean up later. But I'm going to prep the 9x13 pan that the zucchini boats are going to go into. So what I'm going to do for that is I've got my lard that I made after deer hunting that I've talked about before. I rendered pig fat down after we butchered, so that I could have my own lard, and I'm going to just rub that along with a paper towel on the inside of this pan so the zucchini boats don't stick while they are baking. So we got that done. I love this lard. It's one of the best things I ever did. All right, so we can set that aside. I washed my cutting board, and then the trickiest part of this dish, which isn't very tricky at all, is to just hull out your zucchini boats. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to grab these zucchinis. Now if you have a melon baller, that would be ideal. I do not have one of those, but that is a-okay if you don't have one either. We're just going to simply go along here where the seeds are and these guts are and just scrape out the middle. Nothing too scientific about it. Of course, a melon baller would get this done a little quicker. Maybe it would look a little prettier, I don't know. But this does the trick too. So I'm just going to simply hull out the middle of these. And if you wanted to be really frugal with what you're making, you could chop this up and save it for some zucchini bread or something that you're gonna make. For me, guess what I'm gonna do with it? You guessed it, I'm gonna feed it to the chickens. They will love it. Okay, so I'm going to just simply continue doing this. You can see they're hauled out in the middle here, so there's some room to put some insides in them. So I'm just going to continue doing that with the other pieces. Okay, so you can see my chicken is thoroughly cooked through. It's starting to kind of brown, so that is looking perfect. And then I've got all my zucchini boats all hauled out, okay? So you can see that. Got them placed in here. I didn't have room for that last piece, but that's okay. I'm gonna give the chickens an extra treat. So, got those hauled out, ready for the insides. I'm gonna actually put that over here. Ready for the insides to get placed in there. Okay, now the rest of this is easy peasy. So we're going to just add this marinara and the tomato sauce. Now when we made marinara a couple weeks ago, I had a little bit left where it didn't quite fill the jar, but that's perfect. This is about a cup, a little over, so we're going to do a cup of marinara sauce. We don't need to add any onions or anything because we added all that when we made the marinara. So we've got that, and then we're going to put in about a cup's worth of tomato sauce that we just made the other day as well. And then, like I mentioned, we're just going to let this simmer, turn the heat down a little bit, let this simmer, let the chicken soak up this marinara sauce, let it simmer down a little bit. Awesome, that is going to be really good. Smells delicious. And now I'm going to add in those spices that I talked about, how we preserve those spices and herbs from the garden. This is my Italian blend, so it's oregano, basil, parsley, and chives. We're gonna add that in there, so that just smells extra delicious. Okay, and like I said, we're just going to let this simmer together for a little bit. Okay, so while this has simmered away for a couple minutes, it gave me some time to clean up, which I always like to do so things aren't as crazy when you're done eating, and that's kind of the last thing you want to do is clean up. But this is simmering away. We've got it all nice and mixed together. It smells delicious. We are going to take some cheese, whatever cheese you have. I love Colby Jack. This is Colby Monterey Jack. Going to take about 6 ounces and add that to this mixture because cheese makes everything better, does it not? Going to mix that in here. Yummy. Okay. And then we're going to add that rice that I pre-made last night. I made a bunch so that we have leftovers for future meals or for lunches. I'm going to add about a cup, maybe a little more of this pre-cooked rice. And again, you wouldn't need to do that step either. If you didn't want to, you would not need to add in any sort of a filler in there. Take care of that later. But I thought it would just be a good little addition to just make this meal go a little further. Make you feel maybe even fuller since you're not getting those carbs from the pasta. Okay. So you see how this is getting all nice and melty and yummy. It's nice and thick, which is what we want because we want it to sit in these zucchini boats. All right. My oven is preheated. So we are ready to get this mixture in here. So we're just going to take it spoonful by spoonful, get it added in here. Yeah, if we missed some, I guess, right? Okay. Oops, I am being messy today, I guess. Yum, this looks so good. And we're not done yet because we, of course, are going to add more cheese to go over the top because, of course, cheese makes everything better. Right? Holy cow, I'm being so messy. Don't be as messy as me. Unless you have someone to clean it up like I do. Right? Awesome. Okay, so now we've got to try to get these to all fit in here nice and flat. All right, we'll do the best that we can do here, right? Okay, there we go. Hopefully they all stay nice like that. And then we will sprinkle a little more cheese over the top. We've got that Colby Monterey Jack mixture. I've also got a little bit of Parmesan cheese left, so we're going to use the last of that. So we would hate for Parmesan cheese to go bad. That would be very sinful. Okay, so these are ready to go in the oven. They go in a 400-degree oven for 25 minutes. Stay tuned. All right, so 25 minutes went by. These are all finished cooking. What I actually did is I put them on broil for about 2 minutes just to kind of crisp up the top. You can see, doesn't that look, ooh, you can hear it sizzling. Doesn't that look so good? And, you know, fresh zucchini from the garden, marinara from our tomatoes from the garden, tomato sauce, all kinds of yummy stuff. I can't wait to dig in. And then I had some extra, So this is gonna get used too. I could just eat this plain. I'll probably bring that for lunch one of these days, so don't waste this either. All right, thanks for watching another episode of Kitchen 701. Bye.